All right, what's up, everybody? This is going to be my Fury Warrior guide for the season. Um, so far, Fury Warrior has been insanely strong. Not, best single target, but best overall damage, pretty much. Best melee right now. Problem is, we just got hit with nerfs last week, or they're supposed to come in on Tuesday on the reset. But I guess Blizzard decided we didn't get nerfed enough, so they slammed us with another nerf today. So these were the original changes that were supposed to happen on Tuesday, which they still are. So Bladestorm damage is single target and AoE nerf. Same thing with Odin's Fury. These are fine. Whatever. Like these buttons already do so much damage as it begins, so it's just gonna bring them more in line. It's not the end of the world. Um also did it to arms as well. Didn't expect that, to be honest. Um I mean, arms is still doing really well. So if you are an arms one trick, feel free to keep playing it. Like, you're fine. I mean, there are fights that are, I would definitely say, are much better for Fury. But if you want to play arms, I think you're perfectly fine playing arms the whole tier. Um, it just depends on, what you're looking for in raid prog, whatnot. Doesn't really matter though. I think you can play either spec this tier and have a good time. That is on Slayer. Um, yeah, so they give us that nerf, and then they were like, Fury didn't get nerfed enough. So here's another one. It's just a flat 3% all damage nerf, which is, it's fine. Whatever. But if anything, this hurts single target more than anything. Because our AoE burst is gonna be it's still gonna be really good. It's just this will just take, I just feel, more importance off of Fury single target being so close to arms. So this will bring arms a little further ahead in single target. But like I said, both specs are still going to be great. Fury's still going to be really good at what it does. A great burst AoE, cleaving without losing much single target in its talents. It's pretty good. So let's start in terms of raid. You're going to use this build on like 7 out of 8 of the bosses. There's one single target fight. Nexus Princess Kaiveza. That's like the only single target fight you're really gonna focus on. Um, which in that case you would play this build, the spear build. You just drop Odin's Fury and put points into Berserker's Torment. So you get like 28 seconds of Avatar. Pretty good. Um, and it's 28 seconds of Avatar and 20 seconds of Wreck. Yeah. We pretty much do this. Spear's a lot better now in terms of how it plays. You don't have to stand at it anymore. It applies the debuff, the crit damage debuff to the enemy, which is great. So you don't have to worry about all that nonsense of, oh, I gotta dodge a mechanic, but my spear is here. What do I do? Well, lose damage. You gotta move. You don't have to deal with that anymore. Yeah. So it's pretty nice. This build is pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, most of the time you're gonna be playing this multi-target build. You don't lose too much single target, but you get access to all your burst AoE, your whirlwind cleave. Main thing with Fury right now to keep in mind, the gameplay loop is just spamming Raging Blow as much as possible. You basically, like, you're going to overcap on Rage a lot, by the way, in your cooldowns most of the time, like on Pull, especially in Lust. You basically, like, you go from Rampage, Raging Blow, Rampage, Raging Blow, and then you just build up Blood Craze stacks until you're about 4 or 5 usually. It depends on if you run out of Rage to cast Rampage, or if you're just at max stacks, then you send the Bloodthirst or, um, the upgraded Bloodthirst. But basically, yeah, it's pretty pretty cool playstyle. I honestly think Slayer Fury Warrior is extremely fun. Way more fun than any version of Dragonflight Fury that I played. Um, I'm really enjoying it. Regardless of the nerfs, I'm having a lot of fun. Fury feels great right now. I'm loving it. Um, Now the M plus build, bit different, not not by much. Basically, just picking up Shockwave. One thing you can do, you could move some points around here. Like Stormbolt can be picked up for Intimidating Shout. If you really want to intervene, you can take that. Um, this here, I don't know the exact drop off. But if you, by the time we get to higher keys, we might want to drop Wild Strikes. Um, I mean, auto attacks aren't as powerful as they were last season or season 3 of Dragonflight, whatever, because we had Annihilator. You know, the Annihilator build where it's basically just auto attacks were half your damage. It felt like, but now, I mean, I don't know the numbers exactly. Haven't simmed it, but I'm assuming on high keys you're gonna want to drop these 2 points and put into endurance training. Um, Another thing you can do, it's a bigger DPS loss on single target than AoE, I'm pretty sure. But you can drop 1 point in armor to the teeth, pick up Uproar. That way, it should make it so your Uproar and Odin's Fury will line up with every Blade Storm you have. As long as you're getting optimal cooldown reduction time on your sudden death procs. Yeah, so if you want more AoE damage, you can do that. You could even do it this way. You lose more burst on single target and AoE, but you'd keep the armor to the teeth and you would just have better lineup cooldowns on this. But for now, this is usually when I'm going to run. Like I said, haven't even started doing keys yet till next week, so I'm sure as I start testing more keys out, figuring out how the high keys work, I will change this build around as I need. But like I said, these are the points that you would be able to mess with if you want. Going into gear and stats, pretty similar to how Fury always is. Haste Haste Mastery, my bad. Haste Mastery are king. Verse is next. And then Crit Strike is lowest prio. Reason why Crit Strike is the lower is because Recklessness gives you 20% crit for free. And you have so many talents that also give you crit. Especially since the main one we're playing around now is the new Blood Craze. Where Blood Craze used to be every Bloodthirst that you don't crit increases the crit chance of your next Bloodthirst. But now it's just Raging Blow increases the crit chance of your Bloodthirst. And Raging Blow hits like a truck. Okay, that's why you press it so often. Raging Blow is huge. And then going in with the tier set, where's the tier set? Basically, what the tier set does now is it's what is it? Every time you bloodthirst, it increases your rampage damage, and then whenever you Raging Blow, it should increase the damage of the what is it called? Bloodthirst. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so you're pretty much just buffing. It's working in tandem with this talent and the tier set. So Raging Blow hits really hard though. That's all you need to really know. Okay. Raging Blow is your king button. Obviously Bladestorm is insane. We love Bladestorm. So glad it's back on Fury. It feels so good. I think it's ever since like Shadowlands, always felt like Bladestorm just feels better on Fury because it's a shorter cast. I'm still not sure why it works like that. I'm pretty sure it still works like that, where arms is a longer blade storm. It just feels too slow. You feel too constricted sometimes. But I think arms plays pretty well now in Slayer. So, like I said, play either spec, whatever one you prefer. But yeah, Fury plays amazing right now. Those are the stats you're gonna want. I think usually the breakdown, like the rough estimate, is like 40-40. Like you want 40% haste, 40% mastery, and then 10% crit verse. Obviously, that's like ideal circumstances, especially now. We're gonna have lower stats than we normally do. I would say pushing higher content, you're definitely gonna want more verse at some point. So keep that in mind. Verse gear is not bad. It helps you survive, and it also just gives you flat damage. So versus it's not a horrible stat, but I think it's not the highest prio, but you do want some of it. In terms of trinkets, Arakara, it did get nerfed as well, but it's still really good. I think they reduced the main stat you get from it by 5%. It'll be fine. It's still gonna be our best trinket probably for single target or one of our best trinkets. In terms of keys, I mean not even keys. You're gonna want this in raid as well because of how much we're doing burst damage. The main trinket, I mean this Mad Queen's trinket, not too bad. It's better for arms for sure, but you're gonna want that, or you could use that if you get it. But you're gonna want this treacherous transmitter. It's basically just an insane stat stick. On Mythic, you get I don't even know, but you get over like 16,000 main stat. It's kind of insane. The only caveat is that you have to do like some tricks or whatever. You gotta jump 3 times or catch an orb or soak a spot before you get the buff. So if that part is confusing or annoying to use, the other substitute to that trinket, Grimbatol, down here, Marca Cardos. This is going to be your best on use trinket. If you really cannot get this trinket, you go with the Skarmorak Shard. It's like less mastery on use, like by 500 at max item level. But you do get mastery per kill, so it's not like it's not horrible. Like this is a little bit behind this trinket, but this trinket's gonna be perfect for on use if you don't want to deal with the raid trinket. If you can get this in keys, farm it next week. You're gonna want this. Wild Hammer, also good weapon to farm from keys next week if you need that. But yeah, that's pretty much the stats and everything. I'll go over the rotation real quick. I'll do Mythic Plus rotation. The thing with the Mythic Plus, still kind of, I'm sure as the season goes on, I'll figure out a little bit more. But right now, from what I'm understanding, from what I've done, you kind of want to fish for Reap the Storm procs in AoE. I know I was saying Raging Blow is huge, and Bloodthirst is kind of just a button to be buffed up by Raging Blow. I feel like it is RNG, but in AoE, it feels a lot better when you get a ton of Reap the Storm procs, right? So what I do that way is instead of just going Raging Blow, Rampage back and forth, I would instead do the regular opener with the big burst buttons, and then I just Rampage, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, and you just swap, like cycle through those. You're going to go Rampage, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, Rampage, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow. That way, you're using your Reckless Abandon procs on both items, and then what you're going to do is you still build up the Blood Craze because you're cycling through the Raging Blow, or I guess the Crushing Blow with Reckless Abandon. But then you're reaching for as many Reap the Storm procs in AoE as possible. When you do boss fights in keys, though, I still think you go back to Rampage, Raging Blow as much as possible until you have to spend it on Bloodthirst. So I'll show you like the AoE what I would do. Same usual thing. Rec and Avatar always go up first. Um, I know Arms is different with the Roar CD usage, but you want to use Roar after Avatar. You're gonna go Rec, you can drop a Rampage, Avatar, Roar, and then go into that, and then you're gonna want to do that, and then this is where I start going into the cycle, like I was saying, Rampage, Bloodthirst, Wrecking Blow, and then Rampage. And if you do get execute procs, those are also high prio, I would say, because that just reduces the cooldown on your Blade Storm, and you want Blade Storm to line up with Odin's Fury every time. Never, I wouldn't say never, but ideally, you never want to press Blade Storm without either Avatar or Odin's Fury up, because Odin's Fury will give you Avatar for like 4 seconds. That way you have it Blade Storm buffed as much as possible. If you want to track your imminent demise, you can. I don't have it on mine, but you can if you want to track that to see when you've got like maximum potential Blade Storm. But yeah, AoE rotation gets pretty simple. You're just cycling through these 3 buttons, like I said. And like I said, look at that. If you can fish for procs here and get really good procs, Reap the Storm is insane on AoE, which is why I really like focusing more on just bloodthirsting more often in AoE. For this build, in terms of single target, the single target prio on this build is the same as the raid build. You're gonna do the same thing opener. Recklessness into Rampage, Avatar, Thunderous Roar, Blade Storm. Then you spend it on Crushing Blow, Odin's Fury, back to Rampage, and then just alternate between these 2 buttons until you get enough stacks to Bloodthirst. Like I said, this rotation, same thing. You're going to use it on single targeting keys, and you're going to use it in raid for single target. I'll show you that. Press that, and then Blade Storm. Then I'm going to immediately Crushing Blow. I can execute there because I got a proc. Execute higher prio. And then you just go back and forth. And then Rampage, Bloodthirst. Now the thing is, you notice I have Slam on my bars, but I'm not pressing it. It does not give you any rage anymore. So what you want to do is actually Whirlwind as your filler in single target as well, because Whirlwind at least gives you rage. Slam is kind of just, I kind of just have it on my bars just to have it there. I just like having my bars filled up. But you can pretty much remove that because Whirlwind is going to be your filler now. But yeah, same thing, like I said. And then if this lines up, look, Odin's Fury into Blade Storm. Notice I rampaged first to make sure I'm enraged and to make sure I've got the Crushing Blow ready to go. Yeah. Just going to cycle through like this. It's pretty nice. And you'll see Crushing Blow is massive damage. I'm pressing it more than double the amount of Bloodthirst or Bloodbath, whatever, you know, same thing. But it's pretty big damage. Now, I can show you the single target rotation. Pretty much the same thing. Like I said, it's it's like this is only going to apply to one fight. At least from what I understand right now. It's only going to apply to one fight. But it's also important to know. Same thing relatively. Only thing is you want to spear before Avatar because it's nice to get or actually you can do it after. You want to get the crit buff. I think if you sim it, I think it's technically the best to do spear before Avatar to get maximum uptime, but if you want to buff the spear, you should, because it actually does a good amount of damage. You can do it after the Avatar. Pretty similar though. Rec, I'll do it. I'll do it the other way. Wreck, Avatar, Spear. Or sorry, Wreck, Rampage, Avatar, Spear, and then Bladestorm, and then you just go Raging Blow back and forth. When I get the Enrage up, and then do that. I should have executed before the Bladestorm if you do get it. That way you can put some stacks on there. Overwhelmed. And then you just go through. Rotation back and forth. Get the execute proc because it's good. Cooldown and it hits hard. Gives you some rage. And then, like I said, you just cycle back and forth. Raging Blow is your biggest button, highest prio filler. But if you don't have any Raging Blow procs, then you're going to Whirlwind. Yeah, this is pretty much it. Follow this rotation. It's a priority system, like Fury has always been. But I actually really enjoy this prio system right now. I think Fury's a lot of fun. Yeah, so that's the rotation stuff. Do remember, Fury is very good defensively, as usual. You've got a lot of self-healing. One thing to keep in mind, a little bit of synergy this time with Enrage regen. If you want to press it during Bladestorm, you will get the extra healing because of Unhinged, right? So every time, every other cast or hit of Bladestorm or Ravager is going to cast a Bloodthirst at an enemy. So you are going to get a bunch of hits on this, especially if you have the extended Bladestorm. Pretty much. So if you are low health and you enrage regen while you're Bladestorming, you're going to pretty much full heal. No worries on that. So it's a pretty cool interaction there. Don't know how often you're gonna, how many times you're gonna need to do that exact moment, but I think the fact that the synergy is there is cool enough, right? You still have defensive stance in keys. Always use this when you need to. I'd rather have myself not die and do 10% less damage for like 2 seconds or 2 globals. That's fine, right? It's not the end of the world. Most of the time, if as long as you have pumpers in your group, I think you're gonna be fine on the DPS check usually. I mean, it depends on your group, obviously, but survival is key, right? That's why I was saying the importance of endurance training is probably gonna go up as we get more used to keys and push higher. We'll figure it out there. Yeah, defensives are pretty much the same as usual. Spell reflections, feeling like it's got some good options in dungeons, but we'll see. So we'll test that out later. But yeah, the defensives are pretty much the same as it used to be, and they're pretty good right now. All right, yeah, so that's going to be it for the guide. If you have any questions, let me know. If you think I missed anything, kind of just started rambling on this. I don't know, I just usually, Fury Warriors, a lot of these, it's just, I don't know, second nature for me to understand, so sometimes I just start rambling about how I play the class. But if you got any questions, just let me know. I might do an arms guide at some point. Not sure if there's demand for it, maybe. Yeah, I'll just put this out here for now. This is the season 1. I think Fury's going to be really strong. Even with the nerfs, I think we're going to be so many great. So, see how that goes. All right, see you later.